Yo, Brooklyn Boyz Radio, back with another episode. Here with my guy, Mysonne, the New York General.
What's up, Mike? What's good, man? You can't complain.
Yes, sir.
We talk about you every week on the show.
Oh yeah,
Oh
baby.
man, that's a beautiful thing. Brother,
Bring
brothers,
neighbor
you
moles
love
every
you,
week.
man.
Yo, you know it's crazy because we always talking about, community relations, the black community. We always talking about politics. And you always come up. Because he'd be like, man, I wish Mice was here because Mice had him up there.
Well, listen, I'm here now. Look, your wish came true. We here.
Oh, man, I'm happy for this one.
He calls me a Trump supporter, by the way.
Hey, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. That's in my notes. Trust me, we're talking about that shit today.
He said that's in my notes.
Him and Mita was on the show. They vote for Trump.
Oh my God. See,
We're going to talk about it.
once again,
we gotta have this conversation.
media. See, this is what the media does. Y'all watch this show. The same thing the media does is what he does. He's spinning the narrative.
You are
fake. He's spinning the narrative.
You a Trump supporter, B. That's all I got to say.
Listen, man.
So
I just don't follow what the media tells me and societal norms. I'm a man that has independent thinking and I form my own opinion. I don't agree with everything the man does, but at the end of the day. But
we're going to talk about it.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
This is a conversation. We have a conversation.
Listen, man, I told you in the beginning, Mike, this might be a 2-part series with you because I got so much shit to ask you because I respect your opinion. Mm-hmm. First of all, let me just say this. I met you a long time ago before you came home. Mm-hmm. I met you right around the time you did the battle around the corner from my studio at the time at Diddy's spot. When you had the battle outside, I don't know who you was battling. It was everybody outside. Who you was battling that night?
Shine.
Oh yeah, just right. You smoking, right? And then you went to do
Shine from my hood too.
Shout out to Shine.
Shout out to Shine. He's a good dude. And it's so funny. I remember you coming home, being hungry, coming to studios, different producers, trying to get music and doing you, and being humble as you could be to get to where you had to get to, back to where you wanted to get to. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then kind of seeing you do a 360 in that and reinvent your whole self, which is another conversation that I gotta bring up today because I use you as a catalyst, I guess, for this conversation that I'm about to have. Because we gotta go through our other shit, but I guess I can bring it up real quick. Me and Mo sometimes go back and forth on...
Sometimes?
We go back and forth on but we go back and forth sometimes on... he feel like a celebrity can't be a leader.
No, that's not what I said. I didn't say celebrities can't be leaders. I said celebrities aren't necessarily leaders. And the problem with the black community is that once someone achieves a certain level of success, we automatically act as if they're qualified to be a leader just off of that success. We take their opinion as law.
So we had another conversation. You go spin back the tapes. We can rewind that because we had a big debate one time. We was going back and forth, and I was telling him white people do all the time. You have Ronald Reagan that was a leader. He was an actor. He became a leader. Trump was who he was and became a leader. And he was like, yo, black people always looking to these people, like entertainers, to be leaders. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, yo, anybody can change to become a leader. And sometimes our entertainers are in the forefront. And if they speak what we need them to speak, there's no reason, no fault to follow behind.
I don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is, let them show that they're qualified. You prove that you're qualified because your heart and your passion is in it. Mm-hmm. My problem is, we see it happen on social media, right? Lil Durk says something about relationships. Any pretty much rapper who has gained a level of success, we watched Steve Harvey become a relationship expert simply because of his stardom. You understand? And my problem with us is that once someone achieves, just because someone's number one on the Billboard doesn't mean they're qualified to have an opinion about what direction we take as a people. You get where I'm coming from? And it has nothing to do with education, because I believe that wisdom, experience beats education, trumps education every single time. But if that passion in your heart isn't there, we can't just hand that leadership to people. They have to earn it.
I think what you're saying is 100%. I think both of you have a point, right? I think leadership is about who follows you, right? Because you said Ronald Reagan and Trump, they was never my leaders. Somebody voted for them, but they was never the person that could lead me. It's just like a lot of these artists, right? There's a lot of artists that give advice that I don't even know. Like, to me, I don't think they're qualified to give advice. And then when I listen to the advice, it doesn't coincide with who I am as a man anyway. So they can't lead me, but they leading somebody. So what you're both saying is right. He's saying somebody got to qualify, and you're saying that they can. Like, for example, he said Steve Harvey. Some people think that Steve Harvey's advice on relationships works for them. You know, so there are a bunch of people that want to go out and buy Steve Harvey's books. They tune in when he gives advice. There are men and women that be like, I don't agree with Steve Harvey says, right? So it depends on who you are. There's no one leader for everybody. Like they had Malcolm, they had Martin, right? There are people that be like, yo, that shit that Martin was talking about, I ain't with none of that shit. And there was the opposite. You are able to choose who you want to follow as a leader.
But also, what I'm saying too is a lot of these celebrities, right, that we look at as leaders, tell you I'm nobody's role model. So why are we handing them that position?
Because the people want this, and I say this all the time, right? All I can do is give you the alternative, right? I can't make you follow me. A leader can't force you to follow. I can't say I'm a leader. There are people who deem me as a leader. People who follow what I say. It's people who believe in what I say. And I'm just actually doing what it is that I feel is best, right? I'm just taking the path that, because a lot of times I didn't see myself represented improperly within industry, with just in politics, everything. The reason why I got into this whole thing is because I was like, damn, I want to fight for freedom. You know what I'm saying? I want to have a voice, but I don't want to do it the way they do it. I don't look like that. I don't sound like that. I'm not of that culture. I don't feel comfortable in that space. And nobody made me feel comfortable in that space. So I'm like, you know what? I got to create the space that I want to see so people can actually come into that space. Because a lot of people that's in the street, that in the culture, that's in hip hop, they hang out, they love the culture, but they still don't want to see people killing us, right? They still want to stand on things that's principled and stand for our culture and stand for our people, but they don't see an entry point in. So that's how I felt. So I created that because I felt it was missing for me. You know what I'm saying? So people said, okay, I want to follow that because that best fits me. It's just like different sectors of religion. People create sectors of religion based on what they want to do. They're like, yeah, the Christian whole thing, you know what, I'm going to get the Baptist part. Or I'm going to do this part of it. And they take certain things out of it that fits them. And then people go to that church because it fits them. So it's so many different types of leadership, and it's based on who you are, what your moral compass is, what your belief system is, based on who you follow.
And you know what I think it is too? I think a large part of it is the fact that we like to see ourselves in our leaders, right? And this is why the younger generation follows a lot of these younger artists who pretty much a lot of times are misguided their damn selves, you know, but because, you know, this has been going on in our community for quite some time, where it's the rejection of the older generation by the younger generation, and they feel like they can't relate to us. But it's just so crazy because I think that's where we differ, right? The generations that came before, because we paid homage to those that came before us. And I think we truly understood what manhood was. And we understood that paying homage to those that came before us don't make us less of a man, it makes us more of a man.
But I also think we come from a totally different generation, right? Like we didn't have the internet to our disposal. We didn't have access to information. The information that we got was from, you know, your OG or your pops or your uncle. Or
encyclopedias.
Encyclopedia Brown, you know what I'm saying? That's where you got your information from. You went to church. Now these kids have this tool in their hand where they get their information from everybody and it connected to everybody. So even though it makes them smarter, because I watched the 1-year-old on a tablet the other day, was controlling a tablet like I've never seen before, right? They was like 1.5. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They advance, and they think that advancement makes them more smarter than the generation before them, and they don't have to listen sometimes.
The thing that the internet can't give you is lived experience, right? And I think that's where the disconnect comes.
That's everybody living from the internet, though. That's what.
But no, but what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I'm not saying that we.
No, because the internet. Like what I'm trying to tell you is, I see so many opinions on the internet, right? I hear so many ideologies and things on the internet, and they come in, and I'm like,
and there's no filter.
There's no filter, right? So much. Not only is it no filter, it's no basis, right? It's people that are telling you that have platforms that got hundreds of thousands, 1 million followers, that giving you a way of life, that you've never even seen them live or advance or be successful in, right? They telling you how to live, and there's no proof that they've ever done any of these things, right? So I watch people give information about shit that I've actually lived. Right, lived experience, and I'm like, that's not how it goes.
You're a liar.
It's just like when you listen to rappers that never been in the street talking about the street life, and kids start following them. You like, bro.
Or just like when you watch some shows on television, you like, this ain't the way.
This ain't the way it goes. You understand what I'm saying? So when you get your information from that, you getting it faster, but it's wrong information.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to tell you.
You
But they
understand?
believe in that information.
They do,
But
but
that's
but
what
That
the problem-
generation
but
believes
that's-
in it,
and
and they
that's-
don't listen to nobody
And
else.
that's why it's supposed to be a
Yeah.
combination of both, and that's what it is. I want to give my kids. I don't want to take. I don't want them not to be on the internet because it's so much information that I can get off the internet faster, way faster than I could get before. You could Google anything and get updates and actually like get tutorials about shit that you would never get.
Yeah, definitely.
But the lived experience and the understanding, making sure that they understand that I know what I'm talking about, having to embed this into their mind, constantly having to have them around and show them and see certain things. Because if you don't really see it, like we come from an era, the reason why we respect our elders because we seen other people respect them.
Definitely.
Right? We was outside. When you went outside with your father, your uncle who was the man, people gave him a level of respect. He was like, he got to be somebody. Right? Or even with anybody, when you seen the drug deal on the block, everybody gave him a level of respect. So you like, I want to be like that. So it gave you some reason to inspire. So if we're not giving these kids a vision of something else or alternatives or something else to add to it's just like basketball. When you look at a lot of the great players, they've seen a lot of these players and they took pieces of their game and they added them to it. That's what it is that the kids are lacking right now. They just taking one piece and they're not putting all of the pieces that they need.
I had a real question. So do you rather be in the leadership role or you rather do the music side? Which one is you more passionate about?
Music is my passion, and what I do for my people is my purpose. So it's combining both of them, right? It's understanding that I know that I'm gifted and I have a talent to say things that resonates with people in a certain way, you know? And I understand that that gift is supposed to be used to give my people's levels of understanding and ways to evolve and reach, you know, where we supposed to be as a people. So it took time to understand that, right? Because I understood, I always had, when I used to rap, and it was certain people be like, yo, I ain't never think of the way you said it, it really made me think. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they said about me when I used
You know
to
what I'm
rap.
saying? Like when
Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
they might.
Yo,
They did, bro. First of all.
this playlist old shit.
But anyway, but my question to you
Mo,
is,
we gotta get y'all my news, baby.
I hear you, but wait. My question to you is because this is my problem with us. Why does he have to choose one? Why can't he?
No,
be...
I'm
I know, but
that's what they try to
that's
do.
the problem. That's
I
what
don't
they
want
try.
him to choose
No,
one.
I'm
I
not
want
talking
him
about
to
you.
choose more
I'm
passionate
not.
about.
I know. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying that I think that that's part of the problem with us, right? Is people have a tendency to put you in a box, and it's like, bruh, I wrote 2 books. Yeah, I wrote films. I used to rap. I used to write music. You understand? And if the time ever came that I wanted to do all 3, why can't I do all 3?
Why not? And that's what understanding your purpose and who you are. When you have full autonomy over you and understanding and you are free in you can do what you want to do. Like people like, yo,
Comfortable in your own skin.
you can't be gangster but woke. Why? Why can't you can't tell me what I could be. Maybe you can't be that. I can be whatever the fuck I want to be.
You know, I think about you a lot, right? When I
you
work,
think about
no, listen. I think about it. Yeah, listen. This shit he do. But anyway, no, I think about when I was working on Godfather of Harlem, I thought about Mice a lot, and it's simply because there was this line that we came up with, right? That Malcolm constantly tells Bumpy, and it's the day that the gangster becomes the revolutionary, the world will fall to its knees. You understand? And the reason being is because our gangsters are fearless, bro. Our gangsters are dedicated, they're principled. And like even with I think people have this totally misunderstood. Like the whole no snitching thing isn't about criminality. It's about integrity. I just wanna shout you out, man. You know, co-founder of Until Freedom. You have your Raising Kings program. You also have your King Stop Killing Kings movement. Also as well, I know you did the book. What is it? I know my rights.
Yep.
You know, and I just want to congratulate you, man, seriously, because, you know, for where we come from, I know that for me, it was a transition. It took a lot of time for me not to just understand, but for me to make that total switch. You know what I mean? So for that level of growth, bro, and that level of transformation, I just want to commend you, seriously.
I appreciate it. It was a process, right? It was being comfortable in transitioning because I knew that, you know, it's like being smart in school when you was young, right? You didn't want to be
It
smart.
ain't cool.
It wasn't cool, right? Like I remember, I tell the story. I don't think I ever told the story, but I was in junior high school, and I had to take all of the smart tests to go to like Stuyvesant, Bronx, science, and all that, and I failed all of them on purpose. Literally.
That's what our neighborhoods do to us,
Literally, I
though.
went to the test and I was like, and I was looking, it was mad Chinese and what. I was like, I can't go to this. I don't want to be in
That's
this
what our
school.
neighborhoods do
They're
to
gonna
us.
tease.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be where the cool people was. It wasn't cool. I was like, I can still get my 90s. I don't have to go to this school. And when I sit back and think, I was like, that was probably the dumbest shit.
That was
I did in my
crazy.
life.
It wasn't even dumb. It
didn't
was
even
crazy.
make
It didn't even
no
make sense. You passed
But
up
that's-
But I
opportunity.
rationalized that.
But that's how we do it.
But that's
rationalized it.
that's
That's how
because
we
of
do
where
it.
we grew up and how we grew up.
That's how we do as people, though. Like just us. Like we don't want to surpass the dudes around us. We want to stay in that same cool.
I don't
for
even
school
think it's
shit.
about not surpassing the dudes around you, because you'll try to wild out more than the dudes around you. It's just that
Yeah, but you don't
that
wanna surpass them.
positivity doesn't get you recognition.
Yeah, definitely. That's why you don't want to leave them behind. You still want to be able to go home and hang out with your peers.
Yeah, but he could have still attended Stuyvesant and came home and hung out
He
with his
didn't know that
peers
at
on
that
the
time.
block.
I need y'all to do me a favor. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
Brooklyn Boyz Radio, each and every week, we're going to come with a new, fresh podcast for you. So please like and subscribe and share the content.
Make it happen.
All right, so look, man. I want to get to my news because we're going to have a lot of politics conversation with Mysonne. Look how I'm looking at him. He look at me like he want to fight me, man.
Let's go.
It's all good. I don't care. So real quick, I saw this morning your man Bill Cosby wants to go back on tour
Wow.
Okay.
for 2023. He's like, why not? What do y'all think about that? Y'all think Bill should go back out there?
I don't
Bill was like 90-something years old or something like that?
Listen, if he has an audience,
Somebody look at how old Bill Cosby is.
I've
think he like
fallen.
92 or something.
Is he
And I
92?
can't get up.
Yeah.
Well,
And
listen.
he's supposed to be blind and all that.
Once again, I will revisit exactly what I just said when I said, well, I put a man in a box. If he has an audience, if he has a following, if people will show up and fill them seats, I don't see any reason why he should.
You think people going to accept him in this day and
and
time?
I don't know if they will.
We got to see. I mean, if he,
What
for
the-
him to say that, somebody did some type of
Some type of research.
research and said, what is it?
85?
Oh, he's 85? Okay.
And
He can still go outside.
what better way to get reacquainted with your audience? What better way to show the people? Because that's always my thing.
I always thought
right?
it was unfair that they
but
took
that's
Cosby Show
But
off the
that's
TV. Can I
always
say
my
that?
thing.
Of course it was.
That's always my thing. You
Come
know.
on, you can't. My thing is this. There's a level, and this is what I'm trying to say. There's a level of understanding. There's a level of evolution. There's a level of, as black people, that we got from Cosby Show.
Mm-hmm.
Like it gave us a different
level of pride,
purpose
too.
And pride. Like I never seen, but that was the first time I seen black people in that light, and it made me aspire. Like I wanted. That's what I wanted to say. The Cosby Show in different worlds.
Different World made me
say,
want to go to college.
I want
I
to
didn't
go to
go,
college.
but it made me want to go to
Even
college.
though I did, but that's what I aspire. Like,
Yeah.
I want to go to college. This is fun. Like, I want to be around that. So, you know what I'm saying? The positivity that those shows had, even Little Bill, like, my sons was raised up on Little Bill.
Fat
like,
Boy. I'm not Fat, I'm
like,
Fat Albert.
how you
I
take,
love
how
Fat
do you
Albert
take
growing
Little
up.
Bill off TV? And you got some of these.
Can I ask you a question though? Do you this tap into that, and Mo, you can answer this question too. I feel like as people, especially as black people, we help everybody cancel us. As soon as there's a problem with somebody, and you might disagree. I went in the store the other day.
No,
R. Kelly
I
was
agree.
playing, right? Girls like, I don't even listen to R. Kelly no more. And what's the white boy that got convicted of all the sex crimes that the
Which
director,
one? Oh, you're talking about Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
But they still watch his movies.
It's still movies are still on TV, it's still playing.
in the
Elvis
fight-
just put out a whole movie. People went to go see Elvis.
In the fight for black people, your biggest opposition will be
So why
black
do we
people.
seem
That's
to
the
cancel
reality.
ourselves at record rates and not? How can they do a movie about Elvis and people
Because
still
we're-
go see?
because we're
and he was
pro-
married to like a 12-year-old.
Because we're programmed.
Yeah.
We're programmed to always praise the white savior. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. And you have to understand that this happened over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of brainwashing. So we're not going to be able to undo it overnight. This is why I think platforms like this are so important. This is why, like I was telling you earlier, I think that we're at a point where hip hop has become so big an influence that hip hop has to be forced to grow up to a degree. It's like the comparison, the metaphor that I told you earlier when I'm like, look, if you're 17, 18 and you end up having a child, you're forced to become an adult. And it's not anything that your parents force you to do. It's something that somewhere in your mind you come to realize, yo, I have to be more responsible. And although hip hop was about fun at the beginning, at the point where we are now, where hip hop is one of the most influential forces on this planet, and our people need so much help, bruh, hip hop is our biggest tool. So why aren't we utilizing it?
Lil Nas X said he tired of hiding his son.
Hi.
And that in itself,
No, why your face gotta go?
and no, because that in itself is pure proof that the people are falling for a smoke screen. The people are, yo, bro, all of this is concocted.
But didn't he say he was gay? Or he say he was bisexual?
It was a marketing ploy, man.
I'm just so
I watched Lil Nas X tweet, yeah, being gay ain't fun no more. I think I'm gonna start messing with women. Like, bruh, it's a game that's being played.
I just want to understand, was he gay or was he bisexual? Because and can you switch back and forth? Can somebody answer that question?
Listen, man.
Can you switch back and forth if it's your prerogative?
When money is your god, you have no true form. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's a fact. I think it's a lot to unpack, right? When Lil Nas X in itself is a lot to unpack.
Definitely.
Because I don't understand. Like what I told you before, I don't really try to focus on things I don't understand. I don't understand how you fight for being this openly gay man to come talking about his son and not like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what his process is. I don't know if maybe he just had a son because he wanted to have a son.
And we're not saying that, hold on, let's make it clear. We're not saying that it ain't fine for a gay person.
Yeah,
I just
don't
saying
children.
that's
My thing is,
homosexuality.
what are you hiding your son for, right?
Because it didn't align with the narrative that he was pushing.
Well, what's the narrative? You was pushing pretty much. You do what the fuck you want to do, right? So you was there with the man. You say I want to have a baby. Like I don't understand. What are you hiding your own child for? It doesn't make sense.
We may not want to say the narrative, but we all know the narrative that's being pushed. I mean, that's the reality of the situation.
I mean, I don't know. He was very confused. I don't know if he was pushing that he was gay. I don't know what he was trying to push. I don't know if he's pushing sexuality, freedom of whatever.
What is it, gender fluidity?
Yeah, fluidity. I don't know what he was pushing. When it's too confusing for me, I tune out because it's not for me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Things
fair.
that's for me, I immediately get. I'm like, okay. Or I get it after a while. Every time I watched Lil Nas X, I didn't know what he was trying to prove.
But you know what it is,
all over
Mice?
the place.
You know
Yeah, it's all over the
but you know what
place.
it is, Mice? For me, no matter what it is, I have to come to some level of understanding. And the reason being is because, bro, we raising children.
But my understanding is I don't understand.
No, I know.
You could come to that.
Of course. But what I'm saying is, we're raising children in this world, and these are the discussions that we have to have with every single one of them. I mean, because these are discussions we have with our kids. Because the truth is, just like you said, our kids are given so much information, but it's us as parents to give them the perspective and the clarity to be able to know, to filter through it, and just to not accept it as a whole. Yeah. You get where I'm coming from? So even with a situation like Lil Nas X, very confusing, definitely, very confusing. Everybody has the right to pursue their happiness and be whatever they want to be and be how they want to be. But I have to be able to give my children the perspective and the clarity, right? To be able to filter through it and to understand it to a degree, to know, because I'm a strong believer in you can learn something from every single person walking this earth. No man is your friend, no man is your enemy, every man is your teacher, So I think it's just always important for us to have some level of understanding, because we have to teach these kids to teach them how to deal with this world.
I get it.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think just for me, it's certain things, right, that whether I agree with or disagree with, and I look at and I try to conceptualize, right? And if I can't really get the concept of it, I can say, okay, that's good for y'all. It's just not for me. And even when I'm explaining, I can only explain it based on my own perception of what something is. So I can give you the understanding based on my knowledge, but some shit it doesn't line up. Like a lot of shit, like I see a lot of shit go on, and I be so confused. You know what I'm saying? And I be like, wow, like what? Because usually I think I'm a psychoanalyst. I psychoanalyze everything. Like I see people do stuff, and I try to think of what was he thinking before he did that. What did he? I look around and say he probably was looking at that, and that forced it. And that's
Try
why
to
he
grasp
said
the
that.
logic
I try to bring
behind it.
all logic behind everything. And when I see people do shit, there's no logic that comes from somewhere, then we're not aligned, right? Because I'm very logical. You know, I deal with common sense all the time.
100%.
So when I don't see no common sense in the shit you're doing, then it's like, wow, I got to set, because you might harm me. You might do something to confuse, because you don't even know where you're coming from. You just drawing shit from nowhere. There's no commonality, no thread of anything that I can see that your train of thought. And a lot of people, since we're in the internet era, that's what they want to do. They think of shit that
For the moment.
For the moment,
They don't even think about what the later effect or the
Exactly.
ramifications are going to be. They just think about instant gratification. What is it going to get me for the moment? You know, and man,
I'm not that type of person. So
Well, look, I want to jump into this next thing because we got a bunch of topics. So on the internet today, once again, you know where I get my news from. I get it from Instagram.
which is not the most credible news.
But that's what I do. That's my Channel 7 News, Eyewitness News for me. So I seen the whole situation with Javante Davis and his girlfriend. Javante spoke out, said it was all
The
not
media.
what it was said to be. She was just
Blowing
screaming in
it
the
up.
background, blowing off. I seen them had two brushes with shit on it, shit on the mirror. Like, it's just crazy. We said this last week, and it's becoming a reoccurring theme here. What's Jay-Z's thing with the Family Feud?
Nobody wins when the family feud.
And the family's feuding once again. So what I'm saying to you again, I hope everything in that household is works itself out. And I think he got a fight this weekend, don't he?
Yeah, he does.
is it? No, it's like 10 days.
Yeah, soon,
It's
like-
up and coming. It's up and coming.
up and coming
And I
fight.
mean, the last thing I saw him post was like, yo, man, the way the media is doing him filthy, trying to paint this picture of him as this animal. Like he don't even know if he want to even do this fighting thing no more. And that's what's sad. And look, I don't know what happened. I don't know what didn't happen. But we take this so lightly and we make fun of it, not realizing this is a man's life. That these games are being played with.
Yeah, man.
100%.
I think, man, we live in such a microwave and immediate era, and it's dangerous, right? It's like a nigga could tweet something that he thinking while he drunk that could destroy his
And
whole
then,
life.
yes, and then
Everything that he built.
he's held accountable.
100%.
Your worst moment is gonna get caught on camera, and the whole world's gonna see it, right? So they're able to draw a whole conclusion on who you are based on that 1 second of a mistake you made, and that's where we are right now. And I feel sorry for Javante because I understand what he's going through. If they probably had a camera when we was young,
Oh my
when we
God.
finished,
Oh, hell yeah.
we'd be finished. Like the shit that we was doing.
Oh, you
to
know,
say-
see, the crazy shit though? If they had a camera when we was young, they would still hold us accountable to
Exactly.
this day from when we was young.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
we're saying.
you know what though? But that's why I think it's very important for the evolution of gangsters, right?
Has to.
You have to evolve in this world. You have to understand. Look, social media is a tool. It is not for you to vent
not your
emotionally.
life, yeah.
It is not your life. It is not reality. Social media is a tool. I think social media is the gift. It's a gift and a curse because it's given us so much. Social media has allowed people to build $1 million corporations right from their living room without even leaving their home. But in the same breath, we've watched social media destroy people's lives.
Definitely.
So I think it's for us to evolve. One thing I always say as a man, there's nothing you can ever do to make me go back and forth with you on social media. I just see it as beneath me. You understand where I'm coming from? So I think that there's just rules that need to be applied. Like, we have to adjust. We have to adjust because social media is like entering a whole new realm of reality. And there's different rules in this realm that isn't the same in the reality that we're used to. And because of that, bruh, just like any new environment you enter, the first thing you have to learn is how to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I agree.
well, in my other news, I seen New York Times dub Kendrick Lamar the greatest rapper of this generation. How y'all feel about that?
I mean, it's a debate. I think Kendrick is a great artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are people that will agree that he's the greatest artist. I think people will say that they have Drake. I think people would say J. Cole. I think people would say a bunch. Is a lot of other artists that there will be people who have conversations. You know what I'm saying? I don't personally agree for me that he's the greatest artist of this generation, but I see where it's arguable.
I like Kendrick.
Me too, a lot.
I think he's dope. I like the last album. Only thing, maybe I'm just a '90s kind of guy, kind of rapper, right? And I always go back to our era.
The golden era.
So for me, sometimes I have this imagination in my head, kind of like what the NBA players do with LeBron and Jordan, right? Mm-hmm. If I put Kendrick back in those times, would he survive?
If
I
you
don't
heard
know-
Kendrick on a Clue tape, would he stand out?
I don't know if he would survive in that time. Does it take away what he's doing now and he bodying everybody that's in front of him? I don't know if Kendrick will survive with, Fab in his prime, Jay in his prime,
Nas
in his prime, Ghostface and Raekwon in his prime. I don't know if Kendrick would stand, Snoop in his prime. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he would in that era because I come from that era, so I don't know. But right now, he's like I guess a breath of fresh air because
Definitely.
he reminds me of that time.
What I would say is, like I was saying, I think that it's so unfair in those conversations because, like, I believe that those times were those times, right? And I think what we were looking for in those times was different than what they're looking for in these times, right?
Okay.
So I don't know if you gave, him 24 Hours to Live beat or you gave him Banned from TV at that time in that era. Just knowing that that's what I'm saying. Knowing that he's a student, because I know he's a student of the game, and just listen to the way he's able to change inflection, cadences, everything.
Good at that.
I'm not saying that if you would have gave him that at that time and he was in the studio, that he wouldn't have bodied it. I don't know, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to say, because there's a lot of. It's just like. There are artists who are able to evolve. Like when you look at Fab is able to evolve.
Yeah,
constantly evolve.
Jay's able to evolve.
Jay's able to. There are artists that are constantly, even Nas, like Nas is continued. Like when you look from that, you like, damn, these niggas is actually could still be, relevant and rhyme on beats right now and sound dope. It's not everybody that could do that. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that he wouldn't have been considered. I'm just saying that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not saying he wouldn't. It's just like when I look at Julius Erving and I'm like, damn, the style played different. I don't know if he'd have been dunking, but I'm not saying he wouldn't because he played against the best competition he had in the world at that time, and he was able to be one of the best at what he was doing. So that's what I'm saying. So I hate to have those comparisons because I don't know if it's fair.
I have two things to say. I mean, for one, what they're saying is best artist of this generation. That's for one. I mean, I think the hip hop is graded on a curve. The grade that you're given is compared to what's out there at the time. So if we're comparing him to the artists that are out right now, yes, definitely a breath of fresh air. But I'm still, what about Drake? What about J. Cole? What about Kanye? You know what I mean? I think they come up in that conversation. Another thing that we have to think about is what platform is awarding him this honor. The New York Times. That's like when people get Grammys, right? The Grammys, New York Times, it's not really, those aren't hip hop purists, bro. Those aren't people that have been listening to hip hop since they were 8, 9, 10 years old. You get where I'm coming from? So
their perspective is different.
Yeah, so their measure, the factors that they use to come to this conclusion are different than what we may use.
Exactly.
You get where I'm coming from? But at the end of the day, everybody has their opinion. Congrats to Kendrick, on the honor that you've been given.
It's like this. There are places where they play Kendrick that they don't play Drake. And vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. Correct.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So that's why for them it makes sense. It's people that be like, yo, Kendrick is my God. Like I'm listening to him and it's like, wow. So, and then there's people that's like, yo, I can't wait for Drake album, and they fit two different demographics, and I think neither one of them can dominate the other one's demographic totally, right? They might be able to shift in. Drake, I've never really heard Drake have a conscious song ever, right?
No,
I just never. It's not what he does. I'm not saying that he can't have it, but it's not what he does. And I don't know if he was on if they took him to the era, you know, if he got on a song with Kendrick when it was a real subject matter. I don't know if Kendrick won't just drown him there. So I don't know. I can't
But
say.
I felt the same way with Jay-Z and Nas, right? Like,
And Jay,
But you can't say that because they both was on records that even if you had somebody was a better verse, they both bodied the song.
that's what I'm trying to say.
but
That
I-
What I'm
happens
saying,
now.
what I said is we never heard Drake do it, right? It's never that's never been something I've heard him lyrical shit, but I never heard him take a real serious topic that was about some shit that was life changing and put me in a perspective like, damn.
I think it's hard to compare two artists that have two different goals when they approach their music.
That's it.
You know, that's like judging a bird on how well it could swim and a fish on how well it could fly.
That's
I
it.
don't know if that's the truth.
But yeah, because you know why?
Because
Because it's still
DMX
the
was
same
totally
thing.
different than Raekwon. It was two different things. You
Yeah,
could put
but
both of
it's
them on
still.
the record.
But listen. How many?
It was two
Like
different
you
things.
said. And I used to say this back in the days. Like it's kind of hard to compare Jay and Nas because, bro, when they write their music, they have two totally different goals. They're striving for two totally different
But
things.
you know the thing is, I can't agree. It's not so hard. It's based on who you like more. But the reality is, you heard Nas talk about girls. You heard him talk about clubs. You heard him talk about money.
He talked about a little bit
He talked
everything.
about everything. And the same thing. And Jay, when he wanted to get conscious, Jay would give you a conscious song.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. The difference is who you like better doing those things. I'm trying to say that Drake ain't never give you a conscious song, and you very rarely hear Kendrick just give you.
It's funny now.
a
I
club
think
banger.
about it.
You know
J.
what I'm saying?
Cole and Drake. J. Cole is like Drake and Kendrick had a baby. Because he's between both of them.
Yeah. He's
Right?
a hybrid.
Yeah, he's a hybrid of
He
both
is,
of them.
and that's what I'm trying to say. That's why for me, if I had to choose, Cole would be my favorite artist.
Yeah, okay.
Of
Yeah,
this-
I can
of-
see
of
that.
this
Yeah, but
era.
because if I'm gonna be honest, I never thought Kendrick was all that.
I think Kendrick is
he's
nice
nice.
as hell.
I
I think he's
listen,
nice.
I
Nah,
think,
he definitely
I
nice.
think, look, like once again, hip hop graded on the curve compared to what's out there. I think he's a breath of fresh air. I think he makes cool music, but I never thought that Kendrick was nice.
Well,
nice.
on that note, hold up. I want to bring up something. Because we're going to finish up this hip-hop thing. I got like two more things to talk about in the hip-hop space. Then we're going to get some real shit from Mysonne. So, Bobby Shmurda said he wants to quit rap. Right? He said he's tired of a lot of these rappers coming out. They not being what they say they are.
You're a liar.
A lot of them having form of music. The thing that I picked up on the most in the whole Bobby Shmurda thing, and is something that me and Mo debates about all the time. And I heard you talk about it, so I think I know how you feel, right? But he had said this key thing. He says all these rappers, they're not who they say they are.
You're a
right?
liar.
Which I 100% agree.
Yep.
But I have a problem when niggas go to court and they want to use their rap lyrics in court. And we know that these niggas are not talking. Every day we sit here, but this nigga ain't real. This dude ain't talking about that. How do we still take somebody's court case and put it in court? Right? If they not who they say they gonna be, how do we judge what they say is true and at the time they say it is true?
I think there's a thin line, but it has to be a line, right? I think music is about authenticity, right? So if I'm talking about my reality and what I go through, because a lot of times it's metaphorically, right?
Definitely.
I'm not saying, yo, I'm gonna shoot this dude and I got beef with this dude. I'm not saying, yo, I just robbed this place.
The problem is these
and I just
days.
robbed
The
this
problem
place.
is these days they all.
But that's just stupid. You know what I'm saying?
But these
Like,
days
you
they
can't-
are, though.
If you do that, you gotta blame yourself. Being authentic.
There's a level of responsibility.
Exactly. There's a level. Back in the days, you had the hardest rappers talking about street shit, but they wasn't talking about what they actually
Anything
did
specific,
yesterday.
anything
They
specific.
wasn't specifying exactly what's going on. So being authentic about where you from, you know, about the reality of what it is that you do, all those things I think they are very much necessary for me. Like I have to.
Of course.
I have to believe.
I have to be
you.
able to feel you. You
Like, I
have
gotta
to be
believe you.
convincing.
You gotta believe me. So I'm not saying. I think what Bobby Shmurda is saying is that it's a lot of these dudes. Like Bobby is trying to enjoy life now, right? So he's coming home. He's having fun. He trying to move away from street, and the dudes that ain't really like that is trying to judge him on something else, and it's bothering him because he trying to stay out of that. And every day now you got people coming at him. Oh, you want to dance? You want to do this? It's like, bro, I've already been doing that. Like I spent time in jail doing. Like I ain't got to prove that. You trying to prove something to somebody, and now based on this music and this internet, you're trying to force me into doing something or being something that I don't even want to be.
But let me tell you what's even and this is something I know personally, but the most frustrating thing is when you sit there and you know somebody's lying and the entire world believes them and they're looking at you like you're the fraud. And I think, yo, bro, and I think that this is the most dangerous thing about the internet is that if a lie is told enough times, it becomes the truth. So once that dude posts it and then he gets 1 retweet, 10 retweets, 100 retweets, it becomes the truth. And there's no way to put the shit back in the cow. That's the crazy thing.
I watched the internet.
Nigga says
The internet convinced niggas that I'm Black Lives Matter and I stole $90 million. That I've been scamming people.
Come on, you pulled up in a Rolls Royce Phantom, bro.
Yo, it's people every day that come on my page with $90 million, and I be like,
yo, they get at Moe every time.
They call me a thief all day long.
It's fucked up money and violence.
Yeah, bro, I stole from everybody.
Sometimes I read the comments and I'll be like, yo, where these niggas getting
But you know what's
from?
the great? See, this is the great thing about me though, bro. I'm so comfortable in my own skin.
Me too.
And I don't give a damn about.
Listen, it's so
there's
weird.
There's nothing you can do to make me think that the truth to make me think that a lie is the truth.
Yo, Mo, it was funny. I'm not gonna bring it up crazy, but it was somebody who had a story about me. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And the story was fabricated. And I sit there and go, yo. That day I said to myself, how could somebody make up a whole fucking story that wasn't even true, that even happened that way?
But let me tell you what's even more dangerous. Once the lie is told, it can be proven to be untrue, and they are still
care.
Exactly.
Nobody
cares.
If the truth came out, nobody wants to fix it.
Nobody
cares.
cares.
Say nothing. It's cool.
And that's one of my biggest frustrations, right, with the internet. In the world that we live in general, is people that come to argue. It's people that have argued with me that I've known for 20. I got into a real crazy situation with a nigga I knew for 20 years about what somebody said on the internet about me. The nigga went on Insta. He went to YouTube, made a video. Yo, you a sucker. You doing faggot shit. You stealing from people.
But you know what I always say?
And I was sitting there like, I know this nigga 20.
Yeah, but Mice.
He got my phone number, everything.
Niggas call you.
Never say your Mice. Yo. You went and told me about something the nigga on the internet said about me, and I was so, and I started saying, yo, this shit is the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life.
But in a situation like that, I'm gonna let you know,
that
man was always looking for a reason.
I realized that, but it was just so crazy to me.
When you look up me on the production side of shit, right? You'll see a story come up. One of the first, I've sold so many records, right? And
you a thief? Get out of here.
Nah, but it was like something with Jim Jones and God Bless the Dead.
You stole that jacket.
This guy right here. with Jim and Stack Bundles. God rest Stack Bundles. Cool brother. Always was cool. Always was humble. Come by the studio, record mad records forever. But they had took a record and put it out. Jim had just put it out. Jim never asked me for the record. The first thing on the internet says, Chris Style producer gave Jim Jones 50 cent amusement park beat, which it never happened. I never gave him anything. But it's 20 years later, and that report is still there when you go look it up on the internet.
Fake news.
And this is the world we live in, you know what I'm saying?
My son just quoted Donald Trump, by the way.
We're going to get to Donald Trump in a minute. But we got to touch this subject, and we have to touch this subject. We got to touch this subject. I felt my song a couple of months ago. Me and Mo, I said I wasn't going to say nothing really until we got a verdict. Tory Lanez and Meghan the Stallion.
I was going to bring that up, too.
Tory Lanez and Meghan the Stallion.
Yep.
I saw you come out with some strong opinions about it, about Tory and the whole situation. I'm a guy that's, when we come on the show, I really don't have no opinions to no court cases until they end. If you took Tory Lanez and Meghan the Stallion out the case, this should have been either not guilty or mistrial.
Why?
Because of all the information.
Misinformation.
Hold on,
Okay,
time
so
out.
where did you get the mis?
Because there's reasonable doubt.
I talked to 3
We
lawyers.
just had a full.
Mice, I talked to 3 lawyers. 2 female lawyers, 2, by the way, out of the 3.
Okay.
They all said the same thing. Right?
Okay. Based on what?
Hold up,
What did
I'ma
they
tell
base
you,
it
I'm
on?
break it
Reasonable
down.
doubt.
Okay.
One lawyer, the female lawyer was interested in, one of the female lawyers was interested. She said, her opinion was, she never believed Tory did it in the first place. She said, but being a woman, you can't have that conversation with other women. She said, reason why women been through so many things, when you put that out there, then you start an argument with another woman, because as a woman, I should be in cahoots with the other woman.
When she said it,
what
what she said
whether
what
she
it's
believed
based
it or
on?
not, huh?
She said what she.
Hold on,
what she
I'm gonna
did
get it.
believe.
Get
Okay.
it. So I talked to one of my male lawyer friends, and one of the things he talked about was none of the stories lined up, right? The DNA didn't line up with Tory, right? It lined up with a female, which they never tested Kelsey or anybody else for DNA.
But that's not
Hold
really
on,
true.
let me. No, that's what it was.
That's not true.
So it's true.
There was no
DNA
DNA lined up with anybody.
No,
No,
They
no, no.
never
They
tested
said
Kelsey.
they never tested Kelsey.
never tested
They
her, so
said,
they don't-
listen, they
they know
never
it's a
tested
female on the-
Kelsey.
had a
They
gun.
said
That's
there was
not true,
There
though.
was listen. There was
That's
no.
not,
There
they
was
tested her?
There was no female in the gun.
No.
no.
There was no.
They found female DNA.
That's not true. This is what I'm trying to get across to you. These are false facts.
Okay, so that's 4. All right, so you're going to give me the facts. So let me just put out everything. You give me the facts to everything, my son.
Thank you.
Right? He said, thank you. So give me the facts. So once again, in the case, the eyewitness said he seen Kelsey and her had a fight, which Meghan said her and Kelsey never had a fight. She said she never went back to go get Tory, which Kelsey said they went back to get him. And the makeup artist, EJ guy, said they went back to get him, right? He testified about Meg's character when she gets drunk, and he testified that he didn't see a gun that day, but he usually have a gun. And Mace,
That's
right?
never- that's
that was in the court.
That's-
I pull it right now.
That's not true at all.
It's in the transcript.
It's in the
It's
transcript.
not in no
Mike?
transcript that they usually have a gun.
No, he said he saw them with a gun before.
That's not what he said.
So what he said, my son?
They said,
Go ahead.
have you ever seen them with something that might be a gun? He said, maybe, but that's not my business.
My son, no.
EJ
we gonna
never
get back,
said
we
he
gonna
saw
pull it
no
all up.
gun.
We're going to pull it all up, my son, because I want to get it right.
Yeah, because I
Right?
want
So
you
the
to
guy
get it right,
said,
beloved.
the eyewitness said he saw a muzzle flash with them fighting, right?
And then he
Each other.
saw Tory shooting the air.
He saw Tory shooting the air.
That's not
4
what he
times.
said.
So that's not what he. My son, where I'm getting this information
That's
from?
what I'm
Where
trying
you
to-
getting information
That-
from?
this is what I don't
But
understand.
that's what I'm trying to get across
All right, so
to you.
give me all the information.
Okay.
My son, could somebody pull up the transcripts right now for me, please?
Because I know y'all
Please,
got the wrong
hold up,
information.
hold up. Listen, we gotta have them pull up.
Yeah,
That's why we got
please.
people on the job,
Thank
my
you,
son.
man. Please pull up the transcript.
Yes, please. I want to know.
Because I'm confused.
Because I'm
Yeah.
confused right now, my son. So you give us what they're gonna tell, what happened. They're gonna pull up the transcript.
Okay. So, first of all,
Right.
EJ never said he saw a gun. They said, have you ever seen one of them with a gun before? He said, maybe, I don't know. Anything that looks like a gun, he said, maybe, I don't know, but that's none of my business.
Okay.
Never said that he saw a gun. Never. Never said that. Cool. The statement that Kelsey gave to the investigators 2 months prior to that was the exact statement that Meg gave. She hadn't spoke to Kelsey in 2 years. They still hadn't spoke. When she was notified that they was going to utilize her, try to utilize and make it seem like she did it, then she tried to come forward. She never talked. She didn't come forward to that. They played. She went to court.
Yeah, they played her. They played her.
So she went to court and tried to
tape.
plead the fifth. She tried to plead the fifth to everything. She didn't remember nothing. Now I'm sitting there on the jury. Meghan came here, gave us a whole story about what happened. Said that he offered them $1 million. Said he shot her. They had a text message that he sent her, that he apologized in the text message, right? When Kelsey came there, they already had the text message that she sent to the bodyguard 2 minutes after the shooting. Tory shot her,
That's
right? And prior to that, they the bodyguard was supposed to come testify
He
that
didn't come
Tory
testify.
came to the house and apologized to him when he was picking his shit up. He was supposed. They had all of this was already. They already said this during the open. This is what's supposed to be testified. Now, miraculously, the bodyguard don't show up. Kelsey comes in there with a lawyer that she says, I don't know if Tory paid for. She got on the stand and said that, who paid for your lawyer? Did Mr. Lanez pay? I don't know, maybe. This is what she said on the stand. Played the fifth, then tried to act like the prosecutor. So now what they allowed was her original testimony based as you trying to say that that they pressured you to, that's the reason why you said all this stuff. Now we're going to allow this 90-minute testimony of what you said to these police. When they listened to her, she wasn't pressured. They wasn't even asking her questions. She went verbatim down the line of what happened and said Tory shot her. Yeah, he offered us $1 million. Boom. She texted the other friend. The other friend and said, this stupid nigga shot us. They had the testimony of him calling from the jail. When they, the lady said when they called.
So let me ask you a question.
So let me finish because I want to give you the
evidence. Y'all pull that shit up?
Because I want you to hear this, right? So you can understand. When he called from the jail, he never said exactly what happened, but the people that was in the court said there's nothing else he could have been apologizing for, and his lawyer never even.
He could have been apologizing for sleeping with the both of them.
Okay, so listen to me. Why would you be calling Kelsey to apologize to Meg about sleeping with both of y'all after you saying Kelsey shot her? What are you telling Kelsey? I know she's not. I know she's not gonna forgive me. What are you telling Kelsey about Meg forgiving you if Kelsey shot her?
But that don't sound like. Mysonne, I just gotta be honest.
I'm asking you a question.
I hear you,
okay.
But that still sound like a nigga having sex with 2 females.
Okay, if you having sex with 2 females, they got into beef. You know that this one shot the other one. You was there. They had a whole fight. Boom, shot this and that. They ain't talking. Why would you call her to tell, I know Meg is not gonna forgive me after you seen her shot her, and they beefing? So and you telling her
that's the same way. That's the same way. Hold on, Mysonne.
This is. You gotta listen to it. I'm just saying, common sense. If I'm
asking you a question.
Okay.
Meg went on national TV. Cried about man life on the line. Say I never was in a relationship.
Never was intimate with.
She lied.
Listen,
she lied.
What I'm saying to you is.
But I'm trying to tell you what the jury. No, what you not listening. You talking about you taking the internet and your personal.
It's not about the internet.
But this is what I'm saying.
It's about knowing how court works. And once you are proven to tell one lie,
that's not true.
Wait, just understand what I'm saying. Because this is what attorneys do all the time. They try to discredit you.
They try.
But so what I'm saying is, Meg was caught in so many lies.
There's no so many lies. You keep saying the word so many.
Never mentioning about the fight that she had with Kelsey.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to get across to you. That fight has never still been proven to happen. Right? Because listen to me. Let me explain to you.
The guy who owned the house said
no.
They did say they fought.
EJ wasn't even there.
No,
and
the guy from the house. The guy who owned the house. I forgot his name. That owned the house. Yes, the eyewitness. He said he watched the fight.
Okay, so what I'm trying to explain to you, you got Kelsey who gave a story that aligned with Meg's story. Both of them said they never had a fight. When the police pulled up, they got them on tape. Kelsey is like, Meg, you okay? They still talking to each other. They still in communication. Kelsey went to find out about Meg. They still was cool. Tory was the only one that when you look at the communication, he the one outside.
Hold up. Tico,
so I want you to understand what's going on.
What's Tico at?
I need you to understand. As a jury, you paint a picture. So now when the guy goes to court, he told a story. Listen to his story. He said, I read the whole thing. You need to follow. It was 2 people that was giving verbatim testimony. Everybody else was giving bullshit. The lady Meghan Cunniff, a real reporter. She was giving you verbatim testimony of what was going on, word for word. She wasn't sensationalizing the bullshit. She was giving, and I knew it because I had people that was already in the court. Tamika actually went to the first day of the court case. And then my friend Tiffany was there, and a lot of other people I know that were giving you verbatim testimony of what was being said. They wasn't coming sensationalizing, he said this. So when his testimony was that he seen 2 girls fighting. While they was fighting, one of the girls went back to the car, and he seen a flash what he believed to be a gun, and the girl shoot into the car.
There was no evidence
into the car. That never even happened. There's no bullets, nothing inside the car. He said after that, the guy got out the car and just started shooting wildly, not in the air.
He said his hand was in the air.
Listen to me. I'm telling. They said he pointed like this. Shooting everywhere wildly. He was cursing. He was screaming.
Yes,
he was angry. They said, look, he and then he said that all 3 of them went and jumped one girl. He said,
I remember that.
He said they all jumped on a girl. He thought
Looked
they was going to kill her.
drag her in the river.
He said they was about to throw him in the river. His story didn't even align with the videotape. I mean, they had the ring tape of the shots. There was no one shot, and then
4 shots later.
it was boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. There was no time for a struggle for a gun. What he's saying didn't even align with the reality of what happened, that you could hear the shots.
So even what you're saying to me.
But what I'm trying to tell you is his testimony didn't even align with nothing that actually happened. So you could take it with even if that happened, the only thing that happened is every witness put the gun in Tory's hands. Every one of them. Kelsey said it, Meghan said it, and he said it. And when he said Kelsey had it, if she shot in the car, then she couldn't have shot Meghan. So there's no reasonable doubt there. I've never, I'm gonna bring back to your point. We've been street niggas our whole life. You can have a nigga that been a biggest drug dealer in the world. If you shoot him, he could be lied his whole career. The nigga sit on that stand and point at you and say that man shot me, you going to jail. To jail. They do I asked everybody in there, show me the time where a victim that they shot got on the stand and pointed at a nigga that didn't go to jail. The easiest case to beat is a murder because there's no victim there. When you got a victim that's why I was completely confused. I've never heard when you ever heard a nigga say, yo, this nigga shot me that didn't get shot by the person that they pointed at? Have you ever heard of it?
No.
The internet made us believe that this was the first time that somebody got shot that lied on.
Well, I will
because
say,
you know why? Because
I will say with some black people and some white people in the case.
But I'm trying to tell you, I've never in my life heard somebody point at a nigga that shot him that didn't get shot by.
Listen, that's not true because there's a lot of dudes that's in jail for shooting people that didn't do it.
I'm talking about
and they're exonerated
the victim.
Later on.
No, you talking about murder. There's murder. I heard of murder, right, where somebody. I've heard of murder cases. I've never heard of assault with a weapon where nigga said, this person shot me, he was in front of me, and he shot me, and I seen him, and he didn't go to jail.
No.
You showed me one case where that ever happened.
You're right about that, but I have a case, my boy went to jail wrongly because they said he shot somebody. The victim said he shot him. Right? They did. He went to jail, but it wasn't him.
You listen to me. That's a very rare occurrence. I've never heard.
He got exonerated.
I'm just trying to tell you the probability of that happening is very the probability.
But he did go to jail.
Exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
He did go to jail.
That's
right about
the bottom line. You going to jail. If you prove yourself outside of it, but you going to jail. The bottom line. And 3 people put the gun in that man's hands, and then it looked like they tampered with the witness. They was trying to get the tampering with the witness because she came there with the lawyer that the man paid for. They said, is he paying for your lawyer? She said, I don't know, maybe.
Well, that's not a yes.
If I'm a jury, I'm asking you if I'm a jury. I just want to deal with common sense. Because I don't want to put out.
Bruh, listen, when a man's life is on the line, I cannot assume.
I'm just saying.
So a yes is a yes, a no is a no, and a maybe is a maybe. This is all I'm saying.
But listen to me. If a maybe is a maybe and a no is a no, right? You know what I'm going to do? My lawyer gets up next to question you. Right?
Do you think? Let me ask you this question.
So what I'm trying to tell you is they could tell by the question.
Listen, by what you're saying, I totally understand.
You definitely pull up no transcripts for me yet. It's making me feel.
I'm just telling you, I didn't.
Smile didn't pull up nothing for me yet. Nobody pull up nothing for me yet.
I knew what was going on, and I don't want no nigga to go. And I had me and Tory had a DM conversation where I told him, I said, the way you doing this is wrong, my nigga. Like, as a man, you made a mistake. Just own up to the mistake and leave it alone. You dragging this lady, and you forcing this to this.
And
you forcing this.
And another thing too.
You forcing this.
And I tell anybody this on trial: do not go into that court with that level of arrogance, because you're going to jail. You got to learn to be a little more, bro.
I don't know what you mean by that. What happened?
Because Tory was mad, bro. He was arrogant. There was too much bravado through that trial, just the way he was carrying himself.
And the woman was shot. She walked in there crying.
But
jurors cried when she told her testimony.
But I'm going to say this. Wait, hold on. Wait. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to quote you.
But she didn't lie. What I'm trying to tell you is,
Mice.
Listen.
But wait, Mice, I'm going to quote you. You said it yourself that an attorney told you this. It's easier to defend a guilty man than an innocent man.
That's a fact.
You understand? So if that man is truly innocent, then he's sitting in that court like, please, I'm not going to jail.
But what I'm trying to say is,
but do you get?
I get what you're saying. What I'm trying to explain to you is, when I was having a conversation with him, he said, I got the proof. You don't got what I got. I said, Tory, it doesn't make sense. He said, he told me that her friend shot. That's what he said. He said that. I never even brought that up. I waited to the case because that's what you're trying to prove. You said that to me. I never told nobody that he said that. I just told him, how could your friend shot her? The same friend that you went on the shade room and said didn't shoot her. You said that. He never responded back. At that point, I'm like, you playing the game.
He had to
and
use the bathroom.
I said, you playing the game, my nigga, that you gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, you gonna have to pay the consequences.
You gotta pay the cost. And at that point, I backed up out of it. I said, you know what, I'm not even gonna have a conversation about this no more because it looks like I'm biased. But for me, that was a woman, bro.
No, of course.
That was a woman that you did some foul shit to.
Listen.
And you let the world drag that lady, call all type of lies. Nobody shot you. You got glass, all type of shit. And I said to myself, that was my sister. I'd be in jail. I'm gonna catch you. We wouldn't have this conversation. She would never have to talk to you again.
Look,
I would calmly take that one.
Like I told Mo from the beginning, to me, I still found like there was reasonable doubts from all the shit that I was reading. But if for some new information you've given me, I gotta look it up. And if you write what you say,
then it all makes sense.
It makes
and that's
sense,
what I'm trying.
right?
And that's what I was trying to say about the internet. The internet created. What I'm trying to tell you is this: the internet created the whole story.
A whole false narrative.
If you think about this on some real shit, Tory never gave you a
That's
story.
what I'm about to ask you. Would you?
The whole story came from the internet. The thing is, it's two things, right? You can't take the stand because your criminal history is fucked up.
And that's why I think he fucked up.
Right.
Like he was an asshole, stupid for the fight with August Alsina, all the shit he was doing in between,
Exactly.
like waiting to go
Your
try. Like,
criminal
what are you doing? Like,
Exactly.
It's the dumbest shit in the world.
It is the dumbest shit, but once again, I will quote you, Mysonne, what the attorney said. It's easier to defend a guilty
But it's
man
not really-
than an innocent
I'ma
man
say
because an
this.
innocent man goes on and carries his life however he would have because in his mind, the reality is I'm not going to
Can I ask you a
jail.
question? And this is just simple shit. 4 people in the car. 2 people told their story. If you innocent, these 2 people and they just colluding to lie on you. Why
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Listen, I'm not. I wasn't there. I don't know
And
what
the
happened.
dude
I
show
don't
up
know
at
what
the
didn't
last
happen.
minute.
I'm not
That's
saying
what
that.
I'm saying.
Why would the
Oh,
drug?
listen to
what
this.
we're saying is not that Tory's innocent. What
No,
we're
but
saying
listen, I've always
is
said
that it
this.
wasn't proven beyond a
Look,
reasonable
doubt.
doubt.
But
And
hold
usually
up,
in court,
Mysonne,
if it's
Mysonne.
not proven beyond a
Mysonne, let me-
reasonable
But I don't
doubt.
know what does that mean?
Wait,
though? What
let
do
me
you
say
think?
something though.
In most cases, the eyewitness as a victim is all they need. They don't
But
bring shit else.
Mysonne, let me say this.
They don't bring nothing else. That's why I'm so confused at what you say beyond a
Let
reasonable
me
doubt.
say this. Until I saw the court case, I had told everybody, I always thought Tory shot her.
I did too.
I always thought he shot her. But I didn't, it was too much shit going on. And then when I saw the court case, and then when I seen the TV interview, and then she went to the stand, and then she said, no, she did sleep with him. I started questioning all the shit. Like, is she
but
lying? Listen, once you lie, you're
Once
a lie.
you
And
lie,
I don't give a fuck,
exactly.
even if it was him.
But that's not really true,
to
man. We
me-
all lied about who we slept with. If a nigga come up to me and ask me
Yo, but it
certain
was
questions,
no-
I'm gonna say no.
in
But
that
that
case,
man's
I'ma
life
say
is
no.
on the
It's
line.
somebody's life.
right?
His life
Whether
ain't
it's
about- his
whether
life
it's a
wasn't on the line,
platonic
but he
no,
slept
that's
with her
not
now.
true because whether
You-
it's
you
a
turn- we
whether
turned
it's a
to-
platonic relationship or an intimate
Nah.
relationship plays a part.
That's not
play
true.
part.
It does play a
Well,
part,
to
Mice.
you, it plays a part. I'm just trying to tell you
Mice,
this.
people who
I
are
coulda
intimate
said-
get
if
emotional.
If niggas ask me, okay, I'm not saying they don't get emotional, right? I'm not saying they don't get emotional.
Then they said they
I'm
didn't
just saying-
fight,
I'm just saying
they
it
didn't have
plays
no
a part.
fight.
But
People
there's-
saying-
but there's
I'm just
nobody
saying to you,
that
it was
other-
so much shit going on but I'm just saying to you, my son.
There were so many things that came out of nowhere.
I'm gonna start this.
That's
to say,
what I'm trying to
I'ma
tell you.
start
They
this to
came
say-
out of
listen, time
nowhere.
out.
Nobody
I'ma
ever
start
said
this
they
to
had
say-
a fight until you heard that man, and his story didn't align with nothing else.
My son, I'm gonna start
He
the
didn't
same
even-
way. I'm gonna start the same
How about
way.
her lying about why she left the party? How about her saying
why-
that she
who-
never left and came
But
back?
none of those things matter because only thing that matter, you saying credibility is this. I could have.
Mice.
Well, credibility is everything.
So
Mice,
what I'm
Mice,
trying to say-
credibility is because if
Mo,
a
listen.
nigga lied to you 2-3
Mo,
times,
can I
you're gonna
ask you
keep
a question?
believing him.
Mo,
I'm just asking
I'm
you a
gonna ask you
question.
this. If we walk out of here, we moving fast, and I do this shit all the time. I be having conversations with niggas like, yo, I be like, yo, you left your keys on I didn't leave my keys on the dresser. You just left them right there. When? Damn, I didn't remember. All right, fuck it. I'm not gonna remember no more.
Yeah, I was
I'm
about
not gonna
to-
forget you shooting
Yo,
me.
I was about to.
I could forget me
I can
going back
agree
and
with
forth,
that.
but I'm
Yo,
not gonna forget a
I was
nigga
about
going
to
like
get
this and
this
shooting me.
I was
That's
about to get
two
this nigga Mike
different
Song to
totally
say
things.
3 or 4 times. He said, "Yo, we could come in on this date. I ain't coming." But you forgot. I was gonna go there, but I chose not to. You know what I'm saying? I'm let you rock.
It was 2 times.
Yeah, he said it was.
And the first time you got canceled.
Yeah,
So-
that's true.
So let's
Yeah,
do
we
that. Do that.
Yeah, we did. We lost some people along the way.
Yo, you a thief and you stole $90 million.
Yeah, I stole $90 million. The internet, yo, listen to me.
Listen, I'm a thief too. It is what it is.
And that's what it is. I watched the internet, and I was gonna bring that up when that situation. I was like, I watched the internet create so many narratives. The internet created the alibi for Tory. He never said a word. I watched the first day the shit came out. It was niggas like, nah, she shot herself. She got glass.
I don't
They
know
was
about that
fighting.
she shot herself. That's crazy.
That's what they started
Nah, she never
saying.
could've
It
shot
started.
herself.
It started when
she shot herself so she could blame
But
Tory.
that's why I will
Then
say, hold up, time out, Mo. Hold up, time
And
out.
what I'm gonna ask you is this, Mo. Can I ask you a question? This is
sure.
some real shit. You and your man is beefing over the girl y'all slept with. Y'all fight, drag down fight. And he shoots you. You gonna tell on somebody else and make them the person that shot you and not tell. You don't fuck with
listen,
the person.
Mice.
You no longer fuck with the person. Y'all don't have no relationship. You done beat, we done fought, and you shot me.
That's
and I'm gonna
not
protect you and say somebody
Hold up,
else
time
shot
out.
I
me.
don't put nothing past bitch ass niggas. And you know this.
But why? But
Why?
what is the
Hold on, time
common
out.
sense? When you say reasonable doubt, I'm asking what reasonable person.
No, listen, with the new
when you say
listen,
reasonable.
with the new facts that you're sitting here telling me, it's like, okay, now I can understand. But
definitely. That's what I was about to
going
say.
on the narrative
Of the
that of what
The internet.
I
You know, I
heard.
get my
from
news
the
from
internet.
IG, so it don't matter.
That's
Listen,
what I'm trying
not
to
the
tell
most
you.
credible news.
That's where it
But-
always coming from.
but this-
And then it'd be, oh, news flash. Man says Kelsey shot first. Right? They don't give you the they don't give you
Clickbait.
And you like, oh, I told you. News flash. They say
because you know
no
what the problem
DNA
too?
on the gun.
A lot of people just read the headlines, but although I don't, because I read it.
I read it,
where they said there was no DNA on the magazine. The DNA that was found on the gun was inconclusive, which means they couldn't say whether Tory's DNA was on there or not. But there was female DNA
they
on
never
the gun.
did.
They never.
That's what it says.
So let me
Mike,
tell
so
you.
I'm
Let me
gonna say,
explain
go
to
ahead,
you.
bro.
That was.
Where's the transcript?
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
These niggas right here, y'all the worst. We gotta find all these niggas.
There
in
was
here.
there was two different experts, and everybody got an expert, right? There's one expert to say, well,
Yeah, of course, each side
I
has
can
an expert.
conclude that there's a possibility of 4 different DNAs that could have been on a gun. I think one might have been a woman. So what happens is another expert comes on and says, that totally makes no sense. There's no way that you can conclude that based on that. So now you just got to stand off. One person that's supposed to be for you is saying anything. There's a possibility it could be.
But that
this.
you know that does usually happens. The prosecution side and the defense, they bring in 2 experts, and it's usually 2 opposing.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Listen, we can't stay all day on
means
this
nothing.
shit 'cause we got
There's
other things
That's
to
not
get
some
to.
shit. That's not definitive evidence. If I come and say, yo, it could be a woman. Looking at this DNA, it could be a woman's, or it could not. I don't. Based on my expert opinion, I would say maybe. And other person say, based on my expert opinion, no. There's no conclusion that you can come to that is a woman's DNA on there, because it's inconclusive.
Mysonne, we gotta come back to this shit. We gonna look up that information that you
Please
said.
do, man.
'Cause that's why we had you down here.
Yeah,
Mysonne.
exactly.
Please do.
You want ground zero, bro, and I respect it. You know what I mean?
So listen, it's hard to argue with you some shit because
you want ground
smarter
zero.
than me. And that
I
type of
don't know about the smarter than me, 'cause
It's just that I want to be correct when I do things, so I try to get all of the information. Even when before I first said anything about it, I had spoke to different people about different shit, and I was like, damn, that happened like that.
Yeah, I wasn't fucking with I wasn't fucking with Tory or Meghan until the end of this shit. Like I stopped liking their shit.
But
Both
listen,
of them on Instagram.
but
Just let it clear up. I like the air to clear. And let's like the snitch thing when we talk about that, when he talks about it. I'll be like, yo, I ain't call, you got all their life to call them a rat once they come out and they're a rat, right?
But
I don't like to call nobody nothing before I know
That's a fact.
what it is. You know what I'm saying? You. So even talking about the rat, I just want to step into the wire.
wait, I just want to say one.
Go ahead.
I just want to say one last thing. What always baffled me is why is an entertainer with so much opportunity and success even in this situation?
That too.
You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, where we're from, we got into the situations we got into because we had lack of opportunity. And what I don't understand with hip hop today is all of these artists with so much opportunity find themselves in these situations, man. And that in itself just does not make sense to
It does,
me.
and I want to say something, right? Like I don't wish jail on Tory, right? I wish there's a situation where he don't go to jail. But there's a level of accountability as men that we should have.
I agree.
And I think a lot of niggas in this industry coddled this situation and allow him to handle the situation so fucked up that it got to this point, right? So I think niggas should have been like, yo, you going back and forth with a woman that you know was shot? on the internet, you trying to make her look crazy. You discredit her. You doing
And there's
all bunch
nothing
of
okay about
and there's
shooting
nothing,
a woman.
Like there's nothing
Not
okay.
okay with shooting anybody.
Unless-
Exactly.
Like,
And there's nothing okay about it. And I think
Look at
niggas,
these niggas.
I think we got to get back to having like certain shit we can't be okay with. Right? And if niggas would have got in front of it, niggas that he respected, niggas he was around would have said, yo, you carrying this shit wrong. Like, I'm 100% sure, just based off information I know and people around, that if he would have carried it different, it wouldn't even have got here. This shit got here because the level of arrogance and disrespect that you showed that woman, and you dragged her, and you got niggas that don't know, I'm not fucking with her, I think she lying, oh, this and that, niggas putting her name in songs, niggas bring, like, this shit was so, I'm watching this shit like, wow. And I know that she was going through mental shit because I know people that's intimately in her, and she was dealing with a lot of shit. She went in the courtroom and said, this shit been so much that I'm like, yo, I wish he just would have killed me. At the end of the day, the shit that I had to go through, the mental stress and the shit that I had to go through for the last 2 years, like, I wish he really would have just killed me. Like, that shit ain't okay to me. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
definitely not.
So for me, it's
Definitely
like,
not.
that's what it is. It's like, you think I want a nigga to go to jail? Like, I know what jail is, nigga. He one of the most talented artists I ever seen, bro. And he should have been out here right now doing that. But when we do dumb shit,
There has to be accountability.
you know, and the thing is, if we don't hold ourselves accountable, then these crackers gonna hold us accountable.
And if you don't hold people accountable, you're basically teaching them that what they did is okay.
you know what I'm saying?
I
So,
get it.
I wish him the best, man.